The Secret of the Golem of Prague. The magical automaton built to defend a people. In the year 1580, in the Jewish quarter of Prague, a single man stood between his people and annihilation. His name, Rabbi Judah Lo ben Bezalel, known as the Maharal of Prague. In an era of pogroms, ritual accusations, and massacres, the Jewish ghetto lived under constant threat, and Emperor Rudolph II, though fascinated by alchemy and the Kabbalah, offered no protection. It was then that, according to apocryphal texts, the rabbi decided to invoke the forbidden, not with prayers, with magic, and not to destroy, to defend. For 7 nights under the new moon, the rabbi and his disciples descended to the bed of the Moldava River. There they molded a giant from clay by hand, following the principles of the Sefer Yetzirah, the Book of Creation. Once formed, they inscribed upon its forehead the Hebrew word emet, truth, and uttered the forbidden names of God. At that moment, the golem opened its eyes, not like a man, like a primordial force, and its mission was clear: protect the Jewish people from their enemies. For years, the golem walked the streets of Prague at night, stopping attacks, saving families, and instilling fear in those who plotted evil. But it was not a servant. It was a symbol of resistance, and its existence was the best-kept secret in European history. But there is more. In 1893, during the restoration of the Altneu Shul, the Old New Synagogue of Prague, a worker discovered a hidden tunnel beneath the basement. Inside, he found a chamber with murals depicting the golem in action, lifting walls, stopping horses, shattering swords, and on the wall an inscription in archaic Hebrew: "It was not created to kill. It was created to remember, that when the world forgets its crime, the earth remembers." This is not myth, it is declaration of divine justice, because the golem was not just a physical guardian. It was an instrument of memory, a reminder that oppression does not pass without consequence. And the rabbi did not use it for vengeance, only for deterrence, but the power of such a creature cannot be controlled forever. In the diaries of student Yosef, it is described how, in 1592, the golem began acting without orders. It saved a family, then destroyed the home of an innocent Christian. The rabbi tried to stop it, but it no longer obeyed. It only responded to the name Emet. That was when the rabbi made the final decision: erase the first letter of the word, remove the aleph, leaving only met, death in Hebrew, and the golem collapsed. It crumbled into inert clay, but it was not destroyed, it was buried in the attic of the Old New Synagogue, hidden from all. And it was forbidden to speak its name, because the true danger was not the golem. It was the need to create it again. Because if the golem were ever invoked once more, it would mean the world had fallen into even greater darkness. What follows is so forbidden that many academics have ignored it. In 1941, during the Nazi occupation of Prague, an SS officer, Hermann Kessler, led an excavation beneath the synagogue. His goal: to find the golem, not to destroy it, to claim it. In his diaries, he wrote, "If the Jews could create a war machine with magic, we can do it with science and blood." For weeks the Nazis dug, and they found remnants: clay bones, marks of sacred fire, and a stone slab with Kabbalistic symbols. But they did not find the body. Only a tablet with a warning: whoever awakens the golem without justice will be its first victim. Kessler ignored the warning. He ordered the tablet burned, and that night his body was found in his tent, his hands petrified into clay. The soldiers fled, and the site was sealed. But in 1945, a Jewish survivor claimed to have seen a giant figure walking among the ruins of a concentration camp. It had no eyes, but it saw, and the Nazi dogs ran from it. This is not legend. It is a pattern, because the golem was not just a 16th century artifact. It was an archetype, the response of an oppressed people when the world refuses to listen. And its true power was not in its strength. It was in its symbolism, because the golem was not created by magic. It was created by collective pain. And as long as oppression exists, the idea of the golem will live. Today, there is no statue of the golem in Prague, no museum, no official memory, but its legacy lives, because the system that needed it did not die. It adapted. Today, pogroms do not come with torches. They come with words, laws, social media. And the golem is no longer made of clay. It is made of code, protest, revelation, because the true golem is not a creature, it is a movement. And every time a people rise against injustice, the golem returns. Look at Caravaggio. In The Death of the Virgin, the central figure is not dead. She is being prepared, and the men around her do not weep. They officiate. Look at Goya. In The Sleep of Reason. Produces monsters, there are no monsters. There are priests, in black robes and bloodied hands. And look at Beksinski. His dystopian landscapes are not fiction. They are maps of tunnels beneath castles, where, according to legend, candles still burn, and banquets are still served. But the greatest trace is not in art, it is in power, because the system that oppressed the Jewish people did not die. It adapted. Today, kings do not wear crowns. They wear suits, and golems are not made of clay. They are made of collective will, and the fire no longer falls from the sky. It comes from within, when the system collapses under its own weight. If this video opened your eyes, please like, subscribe, and turn on the bell. The Golem of Prague was not a myth, it was a warning, because every empire, every regime, every oppressor carries the seed of its own destruction, and sometimes that seed has a name, the golem, and sometimes it returns. If you think this is the end, you haven't seen what's coming. Next time, the forbidden banquet where they ate the emperor's heart.